Well, hello and welcome to our front yard garden here in the South Carolina upstate. This is episode 17 now in 2025. It's the first day of summer, June 20th, 2025. I think the official solstice is late tonight. I don't know the exact time, but it will officially be summer if it isn't already. It's been a very nice day, a Friday afternoon. Right now, kind of partly cloudy, but it's been very pleasant. I think got into the upper 80s at one point, and we're looking at some serious heat coming up here soon. We've been told it's supposed to hit 100 this coming Wednesday, so not sure how the plants are going to respond to that. We just need to make sure they have plenty of water. So as always, we're going to start here in our mailbox bed and take a look at these zinnias that we grew from seed. And as usual with our zinnias, we have lots and lots of different colors: orange, yellow, purple, white, and different shades of all those. Then some Asiatic lilies kind of mixed in. Probably will start blooming in the next couple of weeks. Not quite there yet. And then these phlox are going to probably start blooming this coming week. So I would say our next video will have some of these nice purple and white phlox. We already have some in the backyard, which is nice. And then we have these morning glories here. You can kind of see they're shriveled up. If I got out here in the morning for this video, you'd see a lot more of them. We had a bunch of clematis that really had kind of, I think, outlived their usefulness up on the box here until last week. I finally took them down because they just looked crummy. One thing that's missing from this garden right now is vinca. We had vinca that were coming back from the previous year for 2 or 3 years in a row, and none of them have come back this year. Not sure why. It might have been from the cold. We had a really cold winter. We've seen a number of things that have shifted in the garden since last year, which is just kind of interesting to see how nature adjusts to various changes in the environment. Up here, there's really not much going on in this little triangle bed. There was more going on in the spring. Right now, unfortunately, it's kind of choked with weeds. We do have our little petite knockout rose here, giving us some nice red flowers. But that's about it for that part of the garden. Then we have over here just a whole sea of zinnias, all from seed, mostly pink and dark pink, but different shades. I mean, even just in this view, you can see light pink, medium pink, dark pink, like that one is a little more reddish. This one's a little more purplish. It's interesting how many varieties of these that you have just in one little group of seeds. Also have some liatris. These have done much better since last year. We just had 3 or 4 stalks. Now we have about 12, and they give you these really unique tall purple stalks, really pretty. These came up from bulbs. And then over here we have a few black-eyed Susans. We also have our Russian sage, which are kind of hiding down in here. Those finally came out last week with the little delicate purple flowers on them. Real pretty flower for a cottage garden like this. And then climbing rose here. The plant itself is kind of struggling a little bit, but it keeps putting out flowers, which is great. It always does. It's been for a plant that looks so unhealthy, it's actually been very robust in terms of flowers. And I would say kind of the same thing to a lesser extent over here. These climbers, they just look like a bunch of branches and nothing else. They usually lose their leaves to black spot every year, but they're still getting some flowers up there, which is kind of nice. More zinnias through here. We've got some phlox that are not quite ready. A few lilies that are not ready to quite bloom yet. And then over here are pink and blue hydrangeas, which peaked about maybe 3 weeks ago. It's starting to slowly fade, and you can kind of see, they're just kind of that dull pink now, and they'll retain their color probably for a few more weeks, and then they'll just be brown. We still have some left over from last year But this group is blue. These might retain their color a little bit longer since they're not getting bleached out by the sun as much, but they've definitely peaked. Back in here, not a lot to show off. We still have some holly berries, interestingly enough. Not halle berry, but holly berries. And these really were kind of peaking back in February when we started doing these videos, but some of them are still in place. And then the thing I really want to show off here is our lemons. I have been talking about my little citrus grove here for the longest time, and it hasn't really done anything. We'll get flowers now and then, and these little lemon flowers, they smell amazing. You'd swear you're in the middle of a lemon grove in California or Florida, but we haven't really had a whole lot of success until now. And I only have 2 of them, but we've got some decent sized lemons. The one in the back there is about 3 inches long. This one's probably about 2 inches long. Those are the only 2 that got fertilized. But we've got some more flowers coming out, so excuse me. Hopefully we'll get more fruit as time goes by. Over here, got some stargazer lilies, and these were just put in back in our very first video this spring, back in mid-February. At the time, we just had a few daffodils out, and we were putting in bulbs, and now they're blooming. This is our crop of snapdragons. They're kind of done for the year. Over here, this is primarily a spring bed, but we do have a few things. These hostas have just finished up. We've got this hydrangea that peaked probably a week or 2 ago. This one's a little different in that it's purple. It's kind of a mix of pink and blue. Really pretty. And then we have a pink one in the front that I'll show in a second. All these bushes over here bloom in the spring, azaleas and viburnum. And then a butterfly bush here. Not exactly going crazy, but it's interesting. I cut this one back, and it is doing much better since it's not putting so much of its energy into the leaves. But we got one of these that spread into the backyard. We noticed that in the backyard video earlier, and it's got a bloom on it right now, which is really cool to see. We did not plant that; it just kind of came out on its own. And then out of nowhere, we have a daylily here. I was not aware that we had planted that. Now my wife might tell me, "Oh yeah, we put it in a daylily." They don't usually spread on their own too well, so I'm guessing that did get planted at some point. A few red roses here on our knockouts. Those really need to be deadheaded, or they're probably going to be done for the year. And then, as I say, a few pink hydrangeas here. These were all daylilies that have, or irises, I should say, that are all done for the year. Then we're going to come back over here and show off the oval bed in the front yard. This is a bed that just keeps getting a little bit bigger every year. When we put mulch out, it just spreads out maybe another inch or 2, so it's taking up a bigger and bigger part of our front yard. Now, I showed a few of these in our backyard video that these had just spread on their own. It's called Monarda, also known as bee balm. It's a real pretty little plant. These have spread quite a bit over the first, I'd say 5 years, maybe 4 years that we've had them in. In fact, come on over here, they get so top heavy they tend to fall over, but they're originally they were just in this area right in here. We've got them all the way over here now, and along with those we've got quite a few of these gladiolas, bright red here. We've had some purple, other colors, and back on this side some Asiatic lilies, mostly yellow. I'm going to go back around to the front, but along the way we'll see these daylilies, several different types here. All of them, well, not all of them, but 2 of the 3 of them are these ruffled types. Really pretty. And the bright orange. Some more zinnias, a few more climbing roses, or not climbing, but knockout roses here. We've got the red, the pink, and the coral color. They peaked in the spring. Not a whole lot that they're going to do. More zinnias here, and then more of these lilies. Unfortunately, again, they get so top heavy, they just fall right over. I'm going to try this one in particular. I'm going to try to lean it up against these dahlias and see if it'll stay up. And that way we can actually see these beautiful flowers. Same thing with these daylilies here. These always make me think of the University of Minnesota. I don't know why. It's just their colors, and it just seems to match their uniforms exactly. No, I didn't go to Minnesota. I'm from Ohio. But I'm a Big Ten guy, so what can I say? More buds in here, dahlias here, not ready to bloom yet, but this dahlia is, and we've been getting blooms now for the last couple of weeks. Not the dinner plate dahlias, but the nice white flowers. And more of the big lilies back in here, Asiatic type, doing really well. And so it's a kind of a typical early summer garden on the first day of summer. Now, if we were in Ohio, we would probably be around mid-July when we were seeing all these things out. Everything's about 6 weeks behind what we see here in South Carolina. And so it's just nice to see them earlier, but at the same time they're done sooner, so that's unfortunately one of the things that goes along with that. But anyway, we had about 40 minutes of garden time today between the two videos. Take a look at our backyard video, and we'll be doing this every week, time allowing. And until next time, happy gardening. Hope it's sunny wherever you are, and enjoy.